Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. Today I want to talk about 3 ways you may accidentally be breaking no contact. No contact is when someone breaks up with you and you want them back, and therefore you disappear. You don't reach out, you don't contact them, you don't text, you don't call. You behave as if you're in witness protection. However, sometimes you may be breaking it and not even know it. So we're going to put a stop to that immediately. So here's number 1, and that is looking at their Snapchat or their IG stories, or now even their stories on WhatsApp. If they can track who views their stories, then they can see that you've looked. And by looking and having them know that you looked, you're breaking no contact, because they can see you're still interested, otherwise you wouldn't be looking at their stories. So any type of app, any type of social media where they can track and know that you've been looking, you cannot look. Now, there are ways to look at IG stories without them knowing it. However, I'm not going to say what it is on here because I don't want the information getting out to the general public. However, I can tell you that if you do a coaching session with me, I will be more than happy to tell you. All right, number 2 is by keeping their phone number in your phone, you may accidentally hit their number, dial them, and now they're going to think you're trying to reach out. And you do not want that to happen. That actually happened to me recently, and it wasn't even with an ex. It was with a guy I had one date with, and then he never called me again. I never called him. It didn't work out, whatever. But it was about a month and a half afterwards, and I accidentally dialed his number. Luckily, I realized it, and I hung up, but still, it had rung through. And I felt terrible. And this was someone I had only gone on one date with. Imagine if it was an ex. So imagine if you've been doing no contact, you've been great, you've gone 30 days, 60 days, whatever, and all of a sudden your finger slips and you dial his number. No! Or her number. So to avoid that, you have to take their number out of your phone. Write it down somewhere if you want to. But if you haven't already done so, take their number out immediately, especially if it's in your favorites, so that there's no possibility of having that little accident. Because even if you say it was an accident, they're not going to believe you. So don't make that mistake. And then finally, talking to friends about how you feel about the situation and going on, if there's a possibility that those friends will somehow tell your ex or tell someone who will tell your ex. Because that happened recently with a coaching client, and that was not good because she had been so good in doing no contact, and meanwhile she was telling her friend what was going on, and the friend, and I use that term loosely, or should I say the spy, told someone else who told someone else who told the ex. And here we thought, yeah, we're doing great. We're showing him, you're doing no contact. Meanwhile, he knew exactly what was going on. So whoever you talk to about your situation, be sure they're not a little spy. Be sure it's not going to somehow get back to your ex. And if there's a possibility of that happening, do not say anything. Just say, you know what? It's over. It's in the past. I just don't want to talk about it. Even though you want to talk about it, just don't do it. It's going to undermine all the effort you've put into doing no contact, all right? So to recap, the 3 ways you may accidentally be breaking no contact is number 1, looking at their stories or Snapchat or WhatsApp. Number 2, keeping their phone number in your phone and you may end up dialing them by mistake. Or number 3, talking to friends/spies. So if you would like to do private coaching with me, you can contact me at my website, theartoflove.net. Please contact me directly via that website and do not email me, or your email may end up in the spam folder. If you're listening to this on iTunes, I would really appreciate if you would give a review and a rating. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you for subscribing. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.